few jumps on top of each other. It was just a bit too fast. We were just a bit too fast there, and the car launched a bit and went off the road and stopped in the trees. We were about 30 seconds ahead of the second entry. If you go too slow, you're behind. If you're too fast, you crash. So you must try and get that balance.
Having just claimed his first stage win of the rally, it went pear-shaped for Nicholas Ryan and Skalk van Heerden, rolling their Bosel Subaru out of the rally in stage 8, while holding 4th overall and first in class.
It was a sweep right into sweep left, and clipped the inside of a log sticking out on the road, and it clipped the car up on the right-hand side, and then just kept on going. The ball joint broke, and then from there we went over.
Altogether, 58 of the original 59 entries in the total rally restarted this morning from the Swartkops Raceway. After stage 7, 46 cars were still running, but that number has since been reduced to 44. As the locals learned to dance while waiting for the cars to appear in stage 9, Serge Damso continued to make the Castrol Ronex dance to his own tune as Lawrence fell away. Habig and Fecken continued to fly the Volkswagen flag as Wilken hung on gamely to second in Class A7. Birds of a different feather flocked to the rally. Back on ground level, Zimbabweans Jess Watson and David Milner were battling with clutch troubles in their Mitsubishi Evo 6 and were destined to retire. The extra wide turn is to maintain momentum as they battle to change gear. And Kosanati and Zamandi and Gerard Snyman had a good stage in their A5 BP Volkswagen Chico, just 7 seconds off the A5 winning time set by Houghton and Doherty. Rodney Versace and Claudio Piazzamusa were still at it hammer and tongs until the Sasol Ronex hit a rock and lost 4 minutes in the stage, taking extra lateness to fix the car as well, effectively ending any thoughts of challenging for class honours. Young Conrad Rotenbach was ahead in class N4, a Subaru driver holding off the attentions of the third-place crew of Jaapie van Niekerk and Greg Godridge in their ESPI Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 8, nearly half a minute back. And after another tough stage, overall positions, still Damso and Paisley. This time, 17 seconds they pulled out over Lawrence and Vermeulen, while the class results showed the dramas unfolding in Class N4. For Class N2, it was still Michael Nathan and Graham Hooper, and in A6, Craig Trott, together with John Costa. After 3 stages and 55 kilometers of rallying without any servicing other than a remote tyre change, the 36 remaining teams were relieved to get to the Warburton Service Park to ready themselves for the 2 night stages that still lay ahead. Damso, first on the road, won both stages to extend his lead to 101 seconds after Lawrence's lateness for extended servicing was added to his times. Lawrence was the runner-up in stage 10. Habig, having endured what he described as a Cartoon Network stage, wasn't to be outdone, bouncing back from a comedy of new car mishaps in the previous stage to claim the runner-up honours in Friday's final stage. With 45 minutes of servicing time allowed before heading back to the overnight halt in Badplaas, Lawrence's crew set about repairing the gearbox, but they ran out of time and Lawrence was out. Other teams used the time available to ready their cars for day 3. After 111 kilometers of hard rallying and another 161 to go, the overall results looked like that. While the class leaders looked fairly secure. Saturday, and still over half the rally and 6 stages lay waiting to catch the unwary or the unprepared. 35 remaining teams took the early morning restart from Badplaas, heading back to the forests. There was no time to take in the breathtaking scenery for stage 12 backend, a relatively gentle 13-kilometer run at Busby. As the sun burnt away the early morning mist, it was business as usual. The top South African rally drivers thrilled the crowds with their high-flying antics. Habig testing the new Polo suspension to its limit in this rather dramatic footage. Wilken was a little more circumspect in the Castrol Runex. And as the assembled photographers vied to get the best shot, Namibians Richard Himmel and Adolf Boertes had a go at playing pilot in their new Africa Line Subaru Impreza, now running 8th overall. They were all put to shame by the aeronautical display put on by the champion of Africa, Muna Singh and David Sohoka, in their Madison Subaru Impreza, easily outflying everyone else. The hard landing remarkably did no damage to the Subaru, and after a quick wheel change at the end of the stage, they were off on another exciting adventure.
It's the first time we've even got this far. Been here 3 times and haven't finished. So just glad to even be in the second day, never mind finishing. Very nice to see somebody like Rothenbach, a young boy in a good car, a lot of talent out there. He's doing quite well. The rest of Africa is a bit slower than this, a bit rougher, longer stages, a lot more demanding on the cars than really the driving. I think South Africa have the fastest drivers in Africa.
And some perhaps a bit too fast. Fisser du Plessis a little more cautious over the jump after his car-breaking jump just the previous day.
We landed on the nose, bent the whole nose, closed the exhaust pipe and it started leaking, it burst, so we didn't get pressure through the turbo. So in the last 3 stages, last night we lost a minute a stage. On the night stages, when we put our lights on, the lights went straight up to the trees because of the bent nose. So it had a cumulative effect, unfortunately. Going into stage 9, we were on equal time overall with Konrad Rothenbach, and we were ahead of Vergen. We're 3 minutes behind them now. After last night, I was ready to take up squash.
And squash is a little safer, hey? So with 5 stages to go, the overall positions had a new Class A7 leader. It was indeed Wilken and Houghton, who had a 4 minute and 46 seconds buffer of enjoyment over the next car. And the leaders after stage 12 in all the other classes, it was Rothenbach and Marsh in N4, and Craig Trott and John Costa in A6 still going well, and the same could be said for Guguletu Zulu and Llewellyn Fourie in the A5 class. And after all that high-flying action, we need to make some money to pay the repair bills. Fan has at his disposal is about to be unleashed over the 29-kilometer rerun of the Busby stage. Jan Habig and Douglas Judd gave the S2000 BP Polo another stage win, 7 seconds ahead of the overnight N4 leader Konrad Rothenbach, who moves up into 3rd overall, while Damso was 6 seconds slower than the Zimbabwean. Caution is the name of the game, as huge half-hidden rocks can smash the sump of a wayward car. Wilken had complete brake failure in the stage, losing his newly gained Class A7 lead, while Van Niekerk and Godridge made steady progress right up the field. Barry Grobler and Mike Burrows were enjoying their first outing in their new Sasol Delight X-Works Volkswagen Golf, now up into the top 10 overall, while du Plessis, thanks to using Nicholas Ryan's car as a spare parts bin to repair his own, was back up to speed in his own Subaru. Singh continued as the leading African competitor, while lower down the order it was business as usual for Houghton and the A5 Motorola Taz after losing a minute in stage 12 earlier in the day after going off-road. Sali de Toey and Gert van Rensburg were 3rd in class, just 40 seconds adrift of Houghton, while Dolf Coetzee battled on in his A5 Taz. With mileage rapidly running out, the overall positions were Serge Damso and Robert Paisley right up at the top there, and their advantage stretching to 1 minute and 50 seconds. While the classes retained their familiar look, except for an A5, where Michael Houghton and Bryn Doherty replaced Zulu and Fourie at the top of the board. Konrad Rothenbach's name was on everyone's lips as he rocketed up the leaderboard in his pro-drive built Subaru Impreza WRX STI N10, the latest model from the UK preparation firm, famous for running the Subaru World Rally team in the World Rally Championship.
Everything's gone to plan. We're doing quite well now. We took 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes from Fecken now, so we're third overall. And leading in 4, I think we've got 2.5 minute gap. So we're just going to settle in now and just wait and see what happens after this long one.
Pretoria businessman Japie van Niekerk was up into 5th overall and 2nd in Class N4, just less than 3 minutes behind the youngster.
I think the challenge is just to keep it on the road now and not to make the mistakes. Go as fast as what you can. Just keep it on the road.
The stage that everyone was dreading, the 60-kilometre-long Jesseval Forest stage, was next in line for the 33 runners remaining. That number was sure to drop. With the marshal's whistles heralding the arrival of the first car, Damso and the Castrol Toyota extended their grip at the head of the field. Running 3-minute dust gaps between the cars, Habig settled into an extended run, dropping another 21 seconds to the flying Toyota. Fecken was holding on to a comfortable Class A7 lead and the last podium position up for grabs, while Wilken did his best to hang on to the flying Fecken. And it was all action behind. The first production Class N4 car through was the Van Niekerk ESPI Mitsubishi. Where was Rautenbach? Himmel followed in his Namibian Subaru, setting the fastest Class N4 time, 41 seconds faster than Van Niekerk. Versace and Swan were cruising to their second Class N3 win of the year after Piazza Musa wisely decided to settle for a safe second in class. Cape Townians Mike Nathan and Graham Hooper held a comfortable Class N2 lead, some 6 minutes ahead of their nearest rivals, Etienne de Toy, in a similar Corolla. Houghton's lead was down to 9 seconds in Class A5, Gugu Zulu closing in on the Taz. Japie van Niekerk emerged as the 4th different leader of Class N4, holding 5th overall after the monster stage. 33 cars went into stage 14, just 27 made it out, but the overall leaderboard showed only one change. Damso and Paisley stretching their advantage to 2 minutes and 11 seconds. And the class positions had that other change in N4. Still, it was Fecken and Arries in A7, Trott and Costa in A6, and Houghton and Doherty still ahead in A5, albeit by a slender margin. Rautenbach was out.